Thank you, Kat. Sometimes things happen on this show, and they just happen out of the blue right now. Because we kind of set this up on Twitter earlier, and it's happening right now. But for a rare treat and surprise, right now we have a really good friend of ours online right now. You hear his voice on every Maverick broadcast. You hear him in between Skin and Derek Harper when you turn on Fox Sports Sw. But he's joining us right now, and that's Mr. Mark Followill. Oh, we got you, Mark?
You got me.
Oh, we got him, Vosh.
It's going down.
For real. It's going down for real. How the hell are you, Mark?
It is. What's up? I'm doing good. How are you guys tonight?
We're doing pretty good. Maverick fever up in here right now.
Well, I'm in love talking Mavs, so let's do it.
Yes. Okay. The guy who
or whatever else you want to talk about. It's all good.
The guy who got this interview set up, Mr. @Tovash10 on Twitter, you want to get over there and follow that, is a Kristaps Porzingis hater.
Oh.
And I want to know, what would you like to say to somebody like him who's a hater of Porzingis?
Well, I need to hear more of what he's got to say about that before I just start jumping in. And
Mark, he said I can tell you. He says that Porzingis, the trade was that the Knicks won the trade. He also said Porzingis is never available. He laughs when Porzingis is hurt. He just hates the man.
Wait a minute, Mark. I'll tell you this.
Yeah,
I'll tell you this, Mark.
My skin if I heard that all the time.
He made some comments about Porzingis, and Porzingis heard him and watched it on the replay of the show one night. Been waiting to get to see what KP felt about that.
Well, that's good that he's watching the show at least.
Yeah, there you go.
Good thing. Yeah.
So tell me, Mark, this Maverick team, what do you feel about it right now? Do you feel like they're finally bending in the curve here? We got something good going on. What we got?
Oh, well, we got something good going on. I mean, they've won 9 out of 12, so I think that it's pretty clear to me that this is a good team that unfortunately got hit hard by the COVID thing. And the sad thing about that is, though, is as I said many times during that whole stretch, those games count, and that's really unfortunate. And because of that, they dug themselves a hole that's hard to dig out of. And that may end up, because they played, basically about 15% of this shortened 72-game season, they probably played about 15% of it or so without those guys, or with those guys just barely getting back, from the COVID thing. That may be enough that it's damaged their season to the point that it's not what they hoped for it to be. There's still obviously another half to go, but yeah, I like what's going on, man. I really do. It's just, I think we got to be realistic about the mountain they have to climb, and they got a lot of teams to jump over if they're going to get into a position where they're going to be a threat to do something in the first round of the playoffs.
Mark, right now the trade deadline is kind of barreled down on us, and there's been a lot of rumors about whether or not KP is going to be traded, or some people think that everybody but Luka Doncic is on the trade table right now. What's going on that front? Have you heard anything? What's the situation going on with that?
Well, look, man, I don't think everybody's on the trade table. I think there's a difference. I think we've got to make sure that we clarify what that's all about, and that is that I'm sure that, like in any year, a lot of names come up when guys are and by guys, I mean general managers and people in front offices. But conversations happen all the time, and names get thrown around on conversations where people are trying to judge what the value of their players is and what other teams want for their players and that sort of thing. So those conversations happen. It's an unfortunate part of the business if you're a player, and to know that, your name is always kind of being talked about behind the scenes and things along those lines. But in terms of what actually will happen and what is reality, as we know, very few of those things ever really come to fruition. So my guess on it, my assumption on it, is that I think there's high expectations here with an MVP candidate in Luka, and I think they'll be as aggressive as they realistically can be whenever the deadline rolls around. I don't think these guys are going to do anything crazy, but I do think they'll be active and aggressive and looking to try to improve the team and salvage something out of a season that they went into with a lot of expectations. And as I just talked about, some things have hampered them from realizing their potential and being all that they can be. So I would expect an attempt to be active at the deadline, but you guys know this, it takes two to tango, man. So you can make all the offers in the world, but somebody's got to be willing to, to work with you on an offer like that. So we'll see if that ultimately happens. But I bet they're going to be working the phones hot and heavy the closer we get to whatever that day is, March 25th, I think.
It does take two to tango indeed. The great Mark
she
Followill
said.
joins us right here on Dallas On Air. Speaking of two,
Yes.
okay, so we do have our one solid basketball player on this particular franchise.
You've been
then,
set up, Mark.
Of course, there's a lot of speculation going around. Some idiot on Twitter said that, there's a toss-up question between Jalen Brunson and Kristaps Porzingis being the second best player. I don't know who this dumbass is, but
Wow.
but I'm trying to help the world understand how good Jalen Brunson is and how important this particular guy is to this basketball team. Because for one, the proclaimed number 2 person is not really interested right now in playing basketball. Can you help me out with that?
See, there's a setup.
I was
Set up.
Well, I disagree with that part of it, but I'm not gonna. I think he's very interested in playing basketball, but we'll discuss that more later if you want to. But you want my thoughts on Brunson, right? You want my take on Brunson?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Look, I love the season that he's having. Look, for a long time, and there's any number of different directions and ways I can go on this. So let me say the first thing I want to say about Brunson is that for a long time I've been beating the drum of Luka, to be the best that he can be, needs somebody who's a secondary playmaker alongside of him, especially in important times in the game, that is able to allow Luka to play off the ball a little bit, can create some shots for other people, in addition to create some shots for themselves, and just be able to make it where at the end of games, man, Luka doesn't have to do everything by himself, either finding his own shot or creating a shot for other people. So Brunson gives them that, number one. What has also come to light in his game this year is better three-point shooting, better overall shooting, a good mid-range game, and all of that is adding up to being a legit scoring option in critical situations in the game. And by critical situation, I basically mean the fourth quarter. The dude is the number 2 scorer on the team this year in the fourth quarter, at least in total points. If you went per fourth quarter, Luka's obviously 1 in total points. He's 1 in points per fourth quarter. JB is second in total points for fourth quarter, but he's played a lot more games than Porzingis has. So Porzingis is actually second in points per fourth quarter, and JB is just barely right behind him. Both of those guys are a couple of tenths of a point apart from each other when you look at average. So, those are the two things that I think stand out. And there's probably even more things I could say, but I don't want to sit here and, take over your airwaves or anything like that.
Sorry, we got time for you.
No, man, I love the secondary playmaking. I love the scoring that he's added. I like the basketball IQ. I like the toughness. Just the work ethic, the improvement that he's made, the fact that he doesn't seem like look, and the guy's won national championships, have been a McDonald's All-American, and so the moments out there don't seem too big for him. And I think we probably knew that was all going to come in JB's game because of the fact that he did play at such a high level in so many big games at the collegiate level. So, love the season that he's had, man. I just don't think there's a shortage of good things that you can say about all of the things that he's done for them this year. There's just, tangible and intangible things. No, things you can prove with numbers and things that you can just see by watching the games, man. I love everything about what Brunson has done this year. It's a shame he had to miss a week because of the contact tracing from COVID, but beyond that, hell of a season for the guy, man.
We're talking with Mark Followill, the one of the play-by-play announcers for the Dallas Mavericks on Fox Sports Sw. Mark, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of this thing. I'm a guy who thinks that Luka Doncic would benefit better at times if Jalen Brunson was a starter. I'm also somebody who thinks that I want to see Luka off the ball more and do more stuff kind of like what I see the Warriors are doing with Steph Curry at times. I would like to see more of that. How do you feel about that?
Well, I like the idea. I was just talking about the secondary playmaking thing a minute ago. Getting Luka off the ball for some portion of time in the game, I think, is a good thing because it reduces the wear and tear on the minutes that he plays. I mean, the guy plays hard minutes. He's out there playing 35 minutes a night, and those 35 minutes are minutes with the ball in his hands, facing a lot of defensive attention, double teams, really good defenders, big defenders, long defenders, active defenders, you name it. The guy's got to face it over the course of a game. So something to ease the strain of that would be good, but it takes the right kind of guy, because Luka's, to be the best that he can be, clearly he's got to have the ball a lot, but you got to find the right balance to get out of his hands some as well. And I don't know what those percentages are or anything like that. I don't claim him to be smart enough to know that, but just someone who can take some of the workload off of him. But also, and probably the reason why I'm not quite as sold on the idea of Brunson starting is that, number one, I like him as the point guard for the second unit, and I think that they really, really need that right now. And yet another thing that Brunson has done this year is stabilize the second unit as a point guard. And the other thing is that Brunson's size, I think, over the long haul of starting games and increasing his minutes, playing along Luka in the backcourt might be a bit problematic. So I like playing him off the bench and starting a bigger two-guard alongside Luka and Josh Richardson, who's got defensive pedigree and things like that. So, and by the way, that's a guy who can do a little bit of secondary playmaking too. We haven't seen it as much as we saw it in his Miami days, but we have seen a recent run. Remember, he had 8 assists in a game and 6 in another and 5 in another. I think he had 4 last night. So we have seen a little bit of that aspect for Richardson, getting some assists and doing some secondary playmaking as well. But I'm all, I co-sign the notion of Luka not having to have the ball in his hands and create everything on every trip down the floor. I do like, ways to work in other guys creating, and Luka being able to play off the ball and being able to, not face just the heavy workload and the responsibility and the physical and mental toll that takes on you to be the guy every time down the floor.
Hey, I'm just saying, Mark, we don't need 2 6-men on the team, all right? We got Tim. Tim's good enough. Tim's tearing it up off the bench. I like Tim. And, the last show we do, Mavs post-game show, right after you guys, I had to come in here and bust these 2 head wide open because they talked down on Tim. And I had to stand up for Tim Hardaway and let them know my guy's consistent. He giving you numbers off the bench. Give my guy some shine, okay? This is what we need to do.
It's gonna be hard to derail the Jordan Clarkson for 6th Man of the Year campaign. Right. I don't know that we're going to knock that off the tracks. I mean, I think he's got that one, unless he falls apart or gets hurt or Utah falls apart, and I think we all know that is highly, highly unlikely to happen. But
what about most improved?
What's that?
What about most improved for Tim Hardaway?
No, I don't see that happening, man. I think his numbers are going to be basically what they were last year. It's just going to be in a different role. So I don't see any sort of most improved discussion for him. What I'm impressed by is that he's been a complete and total great teammate and professional, that he's moved to a role off the bench, which I think is best for the team because it gives you scoring punch off the bench. You even out your attack over 48 minutes. You allow Kleba to play in the starting lineup, which I think is a really good thing because of what he can do as a stretch big who can defend really well, but also is capable of stepping out and reliably shooting the 3 and spacing the floor. So Hardaway has taken on the role of coming off the bench and just really embraced it. And the guy's in a contract year too, by the way. And this is theoretically, probably the last big contract for him. He'll be 29 years old coming up here in a couple of weeks. So, at hitting free agency this summer at 29, one more big contract is probably what you're looking at. You would think he probably at 32 or 33 wouldn't be signing a huge numbers deal at that point. Maybe he would. I don't know. Depends on how he plays, obviously, over the next 2 or 3 years. But, I think you have to look at it that this is his really last big chance this summer. And he's not thinking about that, obviously. He's thinking about what's best for the team and just been, as I said earlier, just a total professional, a great teammate, and is out there not only giving them scoring punch off the bench, but I just love how hard the guy competes on both ends of the floor. Doesn't mean that he gets every defensive assignment right. Doesn't mean that he doesn't get beat every once in a while, because that's going to happen in this league. Good defense gets beaten by better offense on a routine basis. But I love his demeanor and competitiveness when he's out on the floor, and I think that shows up on both ends, man.
We're with Mark Followill of Fox Sports Southwest. And, Mark, I just got to ask you, all season long, it seems like, KP has had ups and downs. And one thing I've noticed is that a lot of times KP is open or has some good looks, and his teammates don't seem to find him in those situations. Is there something going on with the chemistry with KP? Is it because he took some time getting back at the start of the season? What's going on with the dynamic there between KP and his teammates?
Nothing I really see. Sometimes they just don't maybe recognize mismatches when he's got it down low. And I know that for a big guy who's been in and out of the lineup, and that can be frustrating not to get touches whenever you think that you're in a position to do something. But to me, I haven't seen anything that's alarming or concerning about the dynamic between he and his teammates. But, all good offensive players want the ball, and they want touches, and they want their opportunity to get their shots and score. And, sometimes when you don't get those opportunities as frequently as you like, then that shows up in a level of frustration. But it's all born out of wanting to be the best that you can be because it helps the team win games. So to me, I don't see in the entire time he's been around, and look, I'm not around in the way that I normally am since we're in this COVID world. And,
that's over with. Did you hear today? That's over with.
Far away from the bench and don't get to travel and all that kind of business. But generally speaking, man, I don't see anything out of the ordinary that I haven't seen with plenty of good players over the years who, everybody is not in this perfect place game in, game out. You get mad, you get frustrated, you want to do the best you can. When it's not happening for you for whatever reason, then frustrations come out. But I don't look at it as anything, like I said, concerning or alarming or problematic.
Mark, I do want to thank you for joining real quick. And before I let you go,
Yes.
Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about a situation that has developed between me and the feelings of the head coach. I'm a guy who thinks that we should have maybe moved on from him because Luka, I don't see him being here the entirety of Luka's career, and I'm ready to get the ball rolling on that. What's your take on that?
I apologize for that, Mark. I'm sorry for that.
Sorry.
So the question. So what specifically is the question?
Well, I'm just saying, let me ask you, Rick Carlisle, do you see him being here for, another couple seasons, or what are we looking at with Rick?
Well, I think his contract has him through the 2022-2023 season. I think that is information that's not reported kind of in the same way that player contracts, all that stuff's out there for everybody to look at. I don't know that.
I remember they announced it when he got the new deal.
Yeah, in the same way. But I think you said at the beginning of the question that you don't see Rick being here for the entirety of Luka's time here, and I think we can all understand that's probably not realistic that would ever happen because Rick's on the north side of 60 years old now. And has already been here for 12 or 13 years, and clearly, look, we don't know what the future holds, but we're all hopeful that Luka is going to be here over a decade, and so I don't think Rick's going to be coaching for the entirety of time that Luka's here, and for numbers that are going to be up like Jerry Sloan territory with Utah or Greg Popovich territory. But I think year in, year out, Rick is one of the best in the business when it comes to maximizing what he's got on a roster. So. His time will come. It happens for everybody in the business, but to me, I don't see that there's anything pointing in that direction right now. He's under contract for a while. He's been here for 13 seasons. He's a clearly beloved and highly thought of and instrumental part of the organization, viewed that way from everybody that matters, and full steam ahead as far as that goes, I think.
And Mark, just one thing before I let you go, I want to thank you for something, man. Listen, Dirk's last year, you probably cut the greatest goodbye video I've ever heard in my life to somebody. And I've been wanting to tell you, thank you for doing that. That is the one video that put a tear in my eye when Dirk left. I don't know if it's on your voice or what, but man, you did a hell of a job on that goodbye video.
Well, do we have a little bit of time?
Yeah,
go ahead. I have to rush off here because I've got an interesting story for you.
Okay.
So number one, I really appreciate you saying that, and I hope, and it certainly sounds like that's the case. That's the case for you guys watching it, and I hope for a lot of MFFLs that they understand how much that came from the heart, and how much all of us around the team and all MFFLs that we feel about Dirk, and so. There's so many things that I'd like to say and wanted to say about him, and just I really appreciate you saying that, man. And there was a lot of thoughts and a lot of emotion and a lot of speaking from a place of admiration and just downright love of the man.
Yeah.
And that's where that all came from. So. Interesting story. I was at dinner over the weekend with some friends. 50th birthday was over the weekend, you know.
Happy
And
birthday.
so at dinner on Saturday night, some laughs and some stories came up about the night of the last home game. And Larry Bird and Sean Kemp and Pippen and Barkley and Detlef Shrimp all being there, and you know, Dirk's heroes.
Detlef Shrimp.
Man, how cool he thought that was. You know, the reaction he had on the floor, and you know, the things that you heard him say after the fact. It just, you know, how special and meaningful that was to him. That those guys, you know, the heroes of his formative basketball years when he was watching the NBA when he was a kid in Germany, that those guys were there. So that came up in a conversation with some friends over the weekend. And today, I mean, dudes, not more than like 4 or 5 hours ago, I scrolled through the DVR and I have recorded, I don't have it saved from the initial night that it happened, but we replayed it so much on Fox Sports Southwest last spring when everything was shut down during the pandemic, and we replayed all of those games from the 2011 playoff run. And we replayed the final home game for Dirk and the ceremony afterwards. And today, I actually watched that post-game ceremony with all those guys coming out on the floor and saying all the things that they said.
I was there.
Dirk had to say, and Rick and Mark. And, man, got a little dusty over here at Casa Followill about 5:30, 6 o'clock tonight. It had been so long since I watched it, and I think removing myself from being there that night and thinking about it more from a working on the telecast and covering it perspective, and just kind of sitting there as a lover of Dirk and a lover of the Mavs and watching it this afternoon for the first time in, gosh, probably 10 or 11 months since it was replayed last April or whatever time it was. I think it was last April. I think we did it on the year anniversary of the game, as a matter of fact, and the final home game for Dirk was April 9, 2019. So on April 9, 2020, I think is when Fox Sports Southwest replayed it. So I hadn't watched it since then, and you know, just watched it tonight, man, and or late this afternoon, and yep, as I said, got a little dusty over here. At
You're not alone. You're not alone, Mark.
And it was really cool.
You're not alone. All of us, I think. I was at the game as a fan, and I was tearing up like no other. So you're not alone on that.
It was different watching it today. You know, just with some time removed from it and watching it at home and sitting back and just absorbing the gravity of all of what those guys said about Dirk, and you know, his genuine reaction of appreciation and of, oh my God, these guys who I idolized are now here out of respect and appreciation for me. And you know, not that he was thinking of it of a me perspective, but you get what I'm saying. You know, I think he was just touched that they were there to celebrate and honor his career and legacy, and to share in that really special moment. It was just, man, so amazing to relive that, and that's going to be one that's going to stay on the DVR for as long as I can hang on to it.
Well, I'm glad you said. Well, I found it here on YouTube. So when we go out tonight, we're going to play it for the people.
Well, don't go out planning to have a good time, because I mean that's gonna, you know, it's gonna get you all kind of emotional and everything like that. But it is incredible stuff to watch, man. I can't recommend people going to go back and revisit that thing again. It was special night, man.
Yeah. Hey, man, thank you for joining us, and we're going to be tuned in to you tomorrow night. Hey, and tell Skin and Harp to calm down on that television broadcast, too, sir.
No, man, we need...
Tell them to calm that down over there, okay?
We got to have those guys bringing the energy, man.
Yeah, I need Harp.
Tell Skin to cut his hair.
Looking forward to that Mavs Thunder game. Last game before the break tomorrow night, so it's going to be fun, man.
Hey,
do it.
Listen, Mark. Last year, New Year's Eve, I drove to Oklahoma for a Mavs game with Oklahoma, and Chris Paul served me a hot ale. I needed something different this time around. I don't need another ale.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was, oh, man, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was a big comeback late in the game last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, there's no Chris Paul. So, you know, those guys, they had some good young players, but I think they're, 14 and 20 or something like that. So it's pretty obvious the Mavs need to win that game to finish off the first half of the season right tomorrow night. So hopefully everybody will leave the arena, those that go, or walk away from the TV broadcast all fired up tomorrow.
All right, man. So we'll see. We'll check you out tomorrow night. You have a good night, man.
Later,
Take
Mark.
care. See you guys. All the best.
That's our guy, Mark Followill. Were you happy with that?
I was very happy with everything.
I was
Yeah.
happy because
Very happy.
he confirmed what I know is the truth.
Yeah, you're praising that, but they have not won one damn playoff game.
I'm just saying. I heard what Mark. I disagree with what Mark said. That's all I'm saying.
You
disagree?
disagree
I
or you?
agree. Sorry, I agree.
Oh, like what?
Okay,
No, I
okay,
agree with what he said, sorry.
Hold on. You're agreeing that he takes the best. We haven't won a playoff game since 2011.
I'm just saying that's the great Mark Followill, and I agree with what he just said.
Oh, again, we haven't won a playoff game
That's
since.
fine.
Anybody else
fine.
would be fired for less.
That's fine, Walt. That's fine. We know you hate Rick.
I don't hate. I told you I don't hate Rick.
Why you hate Rick? Walt?
And we
I
know
don't
you
hate Rick.
And we know you hate KP.
Rick would be a great coach on the Milwaukee Bucks. They go to the NBA Finals and win in a heartbeat.
And you and your KP slander, he just took it down.
He took it down, but he also helped me out with my Jalen Brunson argument,
Jalen Brunson should be starting.
meaning he should not be starting.
Yeah,
and thank you, Mark Followill, for that point as well, because
he's definitely good enough to start.
he's good enough to start, but
Not on this team.
it doesn't really make sense for the guy to start.
Okay. Well, hold on there, Mr. Vosh, Mr. Jalen Brunson's the second best player. Let's say it comes down to it. Jalen Brunson says, "I want to start on this team, or else
If
I'm walking."
if he wants to start, then you let him start because he's a leader.
Okay.
But at the same time, it doesn't make sense as a coach to put two fiery guys out there when you can save one of them for the second run for the bench because Luka has to get rest.
We got Tim.
I'm not really banking on Tim because he's streaky.
Whoa,
so
whoa.
if you put him in the
Sir,
game,
sir, I provided numbers last week, substance that showed that my guy.
Nephew, what do you think? You're the state champion right here.
I think he's been consistent lately. So
Thank you.
I can't really speak on him being streaky.
Yeah.
okay.
Do you
Hold
want
on.
to see? Do I need to pull it?
Hold on, we got it. We'll set it. Cousin, do you think Jalen Brunson is?
She don't even know who that is.
Calling everybody into the studio.
She don't even know who that is.
Jalen Brunson's.
We gotta bring everybody in this debate.
Hey, the pastor weighs in.
Kat, what do you think?
Lady at the car wash.
Who?
Jalen Brunson, should he start? To say yes or no?
Who? I'm just kidding. No,
We're not talking about Mike Jones, Kat.
Yes. No. No.
281.
Yo. There we go.
Okay, hold on, because this guy here, just like I had to bust you and him over the head last week.
You bust me all the time.
Yeah, I know. I bust you over the head last week with some numbers for Tim Hardaway. Let me get these up here.
I just hope while you're looking for stats right here on DallasOnAir.com, I'm kind of proud that we are where we are with this particular team, dealing with COVID, dealing with like the ups and downs of Kristaps Porzingis, and then still able to say, hey, at least we're weathering the storm, and then at least we're going into the break with either you're tied at 500 or you're up a game.
Momentum.
Yeah. So basketball is all about momentum. It's a game of runs. So kudos to the Mavs for at least weathering the storm and getting to this point.
And hopefully we're doing better than our Texas rivals, Houston and San Antonio right now. Well, San Antonio's still in the playoff hunt, but
The Spurs are up there. They're ahead of the
But
Mavericks.
aren't they struggling a little bit right now?
Of course, every team's struggling.
Spurs are like number 4 or 5 in the ranking.
Yeah, but I saw that they're struggling a little bit. But Houston definitely, I know for sure. Houston is.
Real quick, Tim Hardaway, 13 against Brooklyn.
Oh, here we go.
Numbers. I know you hate it. All right. Well, last night he had 5.
So you got 13 and 5.
Oh, last night 5. 13, 12, 14, 29, 12, 8, 16, 24, 11, 19, 22.
How many?
18,
Are you going back all the way to third grade?
19, 2. He was hurt that game. 19, 15, 21, 19,
How
0.
far is this guy
He
going
didn't
back?
play. 22, 18, 36, 11,
I think
30,
okay,
13.
okay.
8, 6, 7, 5, 3, 0, 9.
A simpler thing. There's a thing called an average.
You
You just gave me
he averages
numbers.
16. He right now this month he's averaging about 16 points a game.
Okay, you know what? It's better than what Mike Bassett did to try to discredit KP because he went and took it. Okay, if KP played in those games,
he didn't play.
0.5.
I'm laughing that Walt gave us all those numbers, and only 20 I heard was a 29. So
Wait a minute.
if you go back for just Jalen Brunson's last 4
That's
or
not
5
he 24, 22,
games, just go back to Jalen Brunson's
21.
last 5
Jalen's
games.
been
22.
getting
Right.
We got a 30-pointer right here.
Oh,
we got a 30-pointer.
That's not a
Congratulations.
good argument when you.
That's
add
called
what-
a streaky damn player, sir.
Oh, I found a 30.
We got a 30-point right here. You said all you heard was 20s. I got a 30-pointer right here with my guy 10. Y'all, you need
The problem is he'll mix in those games.
He'll
like
give you a
6.
5.
He'll give you a 5 and
see-
6. I liked him.
No,
That's the
don't.
truth.
You get proved every time we do the post game show. You do this.
So let's
you
say-
want to dump on Tim.
Next time he does it, I'm just going to remind you.
Let's see. Walt liked.
Next time he does, I'm going to
Okay,
remind you.
so Walt gave us a 5 and a 30, and you don't call that streaky?
He
Nephew,
was hurt.
anybody?
He was hurt.
And then you gave me
What did Tim-
20 his last 29 play games as if
Did Tim
I ain't
save
got
your life
I ain't
or
got
something
nowhere to
the
go
other
in the
day?
next
See
5
what they-
minutes.
Did he save your life? Because I've never seen you bat so hard for a player. bro.
Boy,
You claim you don't even watch basketball to the playoffs anyway. I don't know why you talking.
wrap it up because you're wrong, sir.
Billy, can you tell people where they can find you at?
Yeah, check me out on Instagram and Twitter. It's at Radio Guy Ray. Just on Facebook, it's Billy Allen. There's a lot of good information coming soon. Tomorrow.
Are you dropping the video? Is a video? You have
No
Facebook, Joe.
videos. I'm not trying to be
Yeah,
incarcerated
because
again.
you got went there because you were doing an OnlyFans thing or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
showing your
nudity
nipples.
thing. Yeah, got those nipples
Showed
going
a
a
little
little bit.
bit.
Yeah,
And
They
got
went
put in
ahead,
jail, huh?
dropped me off
No,
for
he
about
had
a
his
week.
pistol out.
Well, when he
Oh.
went to pull his pistol, he showed some nudity.
Yeah, gave him a little bit of his bad gut,
And then
man.
he
It was
come-
too much. They said, yeah, let's.
And then he comes right out of Facebook jail, hot out of jail, and blasts women. Like he should just be right back in there right after he did it.
That's not true. That's
That's exactly what he did.
No.
What you get right out of jail and wasted on that.
No, I mean somebody came for me, man, so I had to respond.
Mr. Zod, can you please tell us?
Yes, you can find me at EA Sports CFW and of course on Instagram at EAZOD60. And of course, ladies, got that second vaccine. So
Got
you
that
want the,
vaccine,
You
girl.
want that if you want those antibodies in you.
Oh,
Come on down.
I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah, I think that is how it works.
Your
When you
antibody-
spread, when you spread, that's how
I'll
it
spread.
works.
I'll give you something. I'll give you.
You can't inject the vaccine that way.
Don't worry, I'll
sir.
bring the card with me. It says both vaccines. Don't worry, baby.
If that were the case, we all be
Going to a
doctors.
Maverick game, fool.
I'm getting in somewhere.
You going to play? You get in the game, huh? I got you on that one.
And of course,
SSBWs. He's vaccinated.
and of course, I got to say this. Hey, hit and subscribe on YouTube. Find us on YouTube. Do it.
BFB DFWs.
Let's do it.
BFB Mavs.
And, can I say something?
Go ahead,
I'm
sir.
gonna do this, okay?
Go ahead.
The 100th subscriber,
Yeah, let's do it.
will get a fucking prize, and it's a good prize. Okay,
I'll let him come
Tell
in
you right
studio.
now.
I'll let him
Come in studio, and I'm gonna throw in some prize like T-shirts and stuff. We're gonna do some big things for that 100th subscriber. I'm telling you right now, help us expand. So trust me, you want to hit subscribe.
I like it. I'm down for it.
Bet.
Vosh, can you tell the ladies, and because of the Me Too movement, the gentlemen, where they can find you at?
You can find me at I'm always right about everything I say. No.
Okay, all
You
right.
can find me on Twitter at Tovash10 and on Instagram at Tovash Hatcher.
I get a couple tweets right and think he's the Stephen Naismith of basketball.
You said I'm the Stephen Nay?
Nay. Stephen Naismith. Guy gets a couple tweets right.
Yeah. I guess you're right all the time, but of course,
Hey.
when people confirm it,
Hey,
you can't tell me no.
You just remember this, pal. It was me that
My
boasted
nose is red.
Michael Bridges and Jalen Brunson the year they won me that bracket. That
What about-
picture I showed you.
What about him?
That picture I showed you. I tried to offer them some money from the winnings that I got from that.
When Jalen Brunson was 7 years old, I tried to offer him some money.
All right,
The
okay.
only thing he did was give me his 2 front teeth.
Okay.
That's how long I've been in the game.
Shout out to my nephew here.
State
joining us from
champion.
Atlanta. When are you leaving? You leaving tomorrow? Okay, so he's going back to Atlanta. When's the next time y'all play?
Saturday.
Saturday. Okay, so he's getting back on the court Saturday. Any?
Hey, you're gonna be there with All Star and all the All Stars.
I'm gonna be out of town. We playing Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
So
Use protection.
now, Vosh, this guy here. At first, you said the starting they switch it up
Yeah.
but one day off the bench, he gave him 20 and 10.
20 and 10 off the bench?
Yeah, 20 and
That's
10
what's
off the
up.
bench.
You're better than THJ.
That has to hurt. That has to
Are you
hurt.
gonna forget your
Yeah,
other
for sure.
family member, or are we just gonna?
around here.
Because she's
Come
just.
around
I felt bad, you know. You
Come
got
around
the
here.
nephew over here.
Come around here.
I'm not getting any praises as a girlfriend.
Come around here. This is my beautiful cousin. Won't you say bye to the people?
Bye, people.
She got that pose down. Hit that for the camera.
So per Mark Followill, we found the video of him, his goodbye tribute to Dirk, and we're gonna play that going out. But we'll be back here Thursday, and I think Thursday Chris Owens will be here. That's been confirmed already.
Duncanville zone?
Yeah, Duncan.
Another
But-
losing school.
Yeah, I mean, his father went to Duncanville. What a terrible city. Terrible school, too. But yeah, we'll be back here Thursday night, and we're going to take you out this video. And if we don't see you around, then we'll see you around. And always do what's best for business.
I've been so fortunate to be on the mic, either on radio or television, for most of Dirk Nowitzki's incredible career. I estimate about 1,300 of his more than 1,500 regular season games. So as a broadcaster, I keep track of the numbers and chronicle the milestones and can tell you something about all of them. He passed Roe Blackman as the Mavs' all-time leading scorer with a jumper over the Nets.
Here it is. The Mavericks all-time leading scorer is Dirk Nowitzki.
He had an overtime three in Brooklyn to leap over Moses Malone on the scoring list.
A dagger and a piece of history. Dirk is now a member of the Magnificent Seven.
The 30K shot was in the second quarter against Larry Nance Jr.
Here it is.
The numbers, milestones, and achievements are all memorable and special, and they'll be tools we use years from now to tell the story of Dirk Nowitzki. But it's time to put away the numbers. Sports needs those numbers for context. But far more than that, these games and careers are about people and how they make us feel. And no one has made us feel in the way Dirk has. We've seen the journey of the self-proclaimed skinny, shy 19-year-old kid from Würzburg, Germany, who came to Dallas, Texas, and became a man, a city icon, an NBA legend, a global ambassador for basketball. And he's taken us all on the amazing ride with him. My favorite question I've asked Dirk in interviews over the years is, why did the relationship between Dirk, the Mavs, and the fans in Dallas develop into something so perfect? He had a first coach in Don Nelson who believed in him and a style that would ultimately revolutionize the position he played. There's a general manager in Donnie Nelson who discovered him, and an owner in Mark Cuban, and they both supported him through the challenges. Dirk himself has said maybe he represented hope for a long, struggling franchise. And so even in the hard times of his rookie season, there were ovations when he came into games. Dirk told me for a special on Fox Sports Southwest in 2018 that it showed me that people here wanted me to succeed.
You know, I got to do everything in my power to kind of make that happen, to pay them back their loyalty, their love.
So from one MFFL to the rest, you guys have been a big part of this, and our seat on the ride has been a wonderful payback.
You guys are the best fans in the league. Let's get it done.
Think about the feelings that we experienced and lived through together. The unbridled excitement of what it was like to be back in the playoffs and have hope again in the first few years.
The Mavericks win. Absolutely unbelievable. The Mavericks have won, folks.
The agonizing disappointment of being what felt like so close.
The Miami Heat clinch on the Dallas Mavericks home floor. And this crowd absolutely shocked.
And then the thrill of finally seeing Dirk reach the top in 2011.
The Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. The first title in franchise history.
I've never seen anything like it in 30 years covering sports. Yeah, every Mavs fan wanted to see the team win because they love the team. But it was extraordinary to witness a fan base and a city so unified in the spirit of, but I really just want them to win it for Dirk. Now we feel appreciation and pride, and not only savoring the rare air level of career milestones.
The wait is over to pass Wilkes, returning to sixth in NBA history in scoring.
But also because we see around the league the spontaneous tributes from fans in other cities who want to pay respect to a career and legacy of greatness on the court, and loyalty, honor, and dignity off it.
One of the greatest of all time, Dirk Nowitzki.
Dirk's no doubt a Hall of Famer on the court. But Dirk's Hall of Fame demeanor off the court is as big of a part of why we feel about him the way we do. We appreciate and recognize the loyalty to Dallas and the Mavericks. Even more than that, though, Dirk connects with us because of the awesome sense of humor, the honesty in interviews, the self-deprecating jokes, the goofy guy in the videos at American Airlines Center, the charitable and philanthropic endeavors, and the touching visits to the children's hospitals as Uncle Dirk. We can all be thankful he shared a behind-the-scenes view of those later in his career. We are uniquely blessed to have Dirk Nowitzki be a face for this city and region as a sportsman, a dignitary, and an ambassador. So thanks, Dirk, for taking us on this magical journey with you. The journey isn't ending, but soon it's going to look different. There are fun experiences that we'll still have together, though, because Dirk, the Mavs, Dallas, Texas, and us MFFLs will always be as one.